What's good, baby? It's Young Gravy. Just finished the Zach Sang show. We talked about some spicy activity, my childhood lore. Talked about, midlife crisis dads. We talked about beautiful upcoming music of mine. So come and check it out, baby. It's lit.
Hello, beautiful human. My name is Zach. That is Dan. And we welcome to the studio for the first time ever, Young Gravy.
Woo!
Greetings.
Daddy. Welcome.
Greetings, baby. Hello. Sitting here looking sleazy right now.
You look good. Do you need help with that microphone?
Does it look good right now?
You look outstanding.
Thank you.
And also your hair is like, it has movement, yet there's no wind. Like, it looks like wind is blowing on you.
Thank you. Just for everyone's awareness, I don't always dress like this, but I stopped at the dry cleaner on the way here. My suit bag caught on fire in my car at this video shoot that Zach and I were at together. That's where we met. And I just got it from the dry cleaner. It's clean. No burn marks. So we're
you got to understand, like, we're in this dressing room. We're also in a warehouse. It's 150 degrees. There's like a fake courtroom in this warehouse, a fake sushi restaurant, a fake hospital. And all of a sudden, Mr. Young Gravy just comes, you're not running and you're not even overly alarmed, but you're just like, oh, this is wild. My suit caught on fire, but there was never a flame. It burned through the window, correct?
I think what happened was, like, it was in the back of the let's alert Tesla about this. It was in my trunk, I mean. So that's what they call that. On the top, there's a little like platform. It was it was sitting there in the suit bag or whatever. And I don't know if I want to blame Suit Supply or Tesla, but I think maybe Suit Supply is the one. It was sitting there in this Navy bag, and I believe either like a tiny little flame came out, but it was getting magnified, I believe, by the car onto this bag. And then I went in there, and there's just this big ass hole that's like black around the edges, and there's like blue stuff all over the suit. And man, I was really disappointed. I got this suit for a date with Martha Stewart, and then I was like, it has a lot of value to me, and luckily I just went to the dry cleaner and they cleaned it off, so the suit didn't catch on fire. It was just the bag that had a little spontaneous combustion activity.
But a really beautiful full circle moment for us.
Yeah. Picked it up on the way, and I thought, you know what? I didn't even think about the fact that we had already discussed this suit. I just was like, you know what?
I was there the day it burned.
Yeah, you were there. You witnessed it in action. I mean, post action, and I just thought, you know what? After that video shoot, I thought, you know what? Zach kind of outflexed me on the acting, so I'm gonna have to outflex him on the outfit today.
Well, you can't even really say that that's accurate. First of all, the first thing that we shoot in the courtroom scene for Quinn 92's Backpack music video, which we will put a link in the description below if you want to watch. It's you. It opens on you.
It does open on me.
I mean, that's like that's a big feat. You're number 2 on this call sheet next to the guy whose song it is.
Yep. Facts.
And you served up many quality takes. I don't even think you stuck to the script exactly. You gave it your own flavor. You used intercourse in there, which I like. That's a judge. That's a judge word.
So here's the wild thing is I did this on Monday, but I think it was I got hit up around Saturday. So it was basically a week. How long ago was that shoot? Maybe like a week and a half or something. I don't know.
2 weeks.
Maybe 2. I don't know. It was almost exactly 2 weeks after they first hit me up for that shoot. But the Nelk boys hit me up to do a shoot. Like, yo, we need a judge for this. We need a judge for this skit we're doing. And I was like, word, I've actually done that before. I'm super down. They're like, wait, no way, that's crazy. And then I was like, yeah, man, I'll shoot a video when I get there. And then I get to the set, and I'm like, this is the same exact fucking set.
Stop it.
So
no.
So Monday, I pull up to the spot at 10 in the morning, sipping on Happy Dads with the Nelk boys. My first time meeting them. It was they were cool. I like those guys a lot. But yeah, same exact set. I was like, oh, don't worry, I know where the green room is. I'm gonna go drop my shit off real quick. So I did the same role, same everything. I'm convinced that they saw the video. I'm convinced they saw the video, but maybe it's just a coincidence. But like they pulled up same like judge robe and everything.
Like your life has changed from this one role.
I guess so, man. Yeah, like I think they had Snoop Dogg cast it, and he couldn't make it. They're like, oh, what's the next best thing? So I guess they picked me. I'm honored, I guess, to be the next best Snoop Dogg right now.
Well, and there's two things that I want to get into and expand on from what you mentioned. One being, there is a reality that we live in where you could eventually have a TV show where you actually hear out people's cases and maybe some infidelity cases. And like you actually sit and you have a gavel and you have a whole thing and you hear out maybe cheating stories or whatever it may be and you rule on them. But do you think of that memeable comedy, parody, and do you balance that with the music you make, like mentally or creatively?
So I mean, if that opportunity, I guess the opportunity is possible whenever, but I would. When I have time to do some TV, you know, I don't mind that idea. Maybe we could do some sort of like Jerry Springer mixed with Judge Judy type activity.
I would love. Come on,
that could be lit. You know, instead of Jerry, it's like gravy. Yeah, it'd be lit. I like in high school. I remember like being so inspired, but also like, damn, the world is fucking weird. When I would watch like, you know, it was always late night, like 3 a.m. and then Maury and Jerry Springer would start playing. I think that definitely made me a worse person in life, just watching those. Anyways, you asked about humor and music.
Yeah, is humor a part of your art form? And does it weigh on you during the creative process when you're crafting a record?
So when I write, it's never like when I'm writing lyrics. I don't think I'm ever the humor is never like the first priority. I always will like we'll start the song, we'll get however far on the song and have like basic lyrics laid out, you know? Like I'll work with the producer to make a beat from scratch. We'll kind of do everything together and then I kind of freestyle over it or even just spit gibberish, which we call top line. Yeah. And when I get like a good couple verses or like flows ready and kind of we arrange them a little bit, then I'll go in and write it. And I'm very particular about lyrics. I almost never will finish a song like in one session. Like I'll get the layout, go home, write by myself, and then come back and finish it. And humor isn't really ever the first priority. Where I feel like there are some rappers or some artists out there where it's kind of like the purpose of like it's not a Weird Al situation where they want to make something humorous. I think Lil Dicky's somewhere in between because he has songs where the whole theme is humorous, but he's really fucking spitting something. You know, he's spitting good bars and it flows and it's catchy. Don't hate on Weird Al. Weird Al was a legend or is a legend, but. And
that was also like that was a collection of moments in time, right? Like we were in a different age where, I mean, Weird Al shined. I mean, dude, What You Nerdy changed my life. You know? Like that record is everything.
I mean, he's a genius. Like that was what people wanted at that time, and I think it would probably still go off now. But I remember in that era, like, man, that shit was huge.
So, I find it interesting that you will do gibberish, kind of just flow. How do you know that you're heading in the right direction or may have something?
You can feel it. I don't know. Sometimes you just get on it, especially if there's a few people around in the studio, and if I'm flowing and I can see the reaction, that helps a little bit. But also just like I'm very like sort of a perfectionist with all that stuff, so I'll re-listen a bunch of times, or I'll send it to like the people that I really trust and be like, yo, what sounds the best? So flow wise, like when I'm doing that top line, like I like to. Basically, once we do that first session, when we make the beat, we make the sample, whatever it is, and I spit some top line over it, I'll sit on that for a while before I go in and like really finalize it, which seems to work really well.
How long do you sit on it for?
It depends. It depends on my schedule, man. Like if I'm in LA, like when I was finishing my album, it's dropping next month. I won't drop the name yet, but the title, I mean, but that. I was doing sessions almost every day, so it would be like I would go home from the session, sit there, stay up really late, and like work on the lyrics and whatnot. Sometimes I will, you know, finish the first draft of a song and then sit on it for forever. Like there's been songs where I still have some songs that are like in sort of the arsenal that I have a general outline for that. I'm like, you know what, that should come out later. I don't think I want that yet. So
where did Betty fall? Like, how long were you sitting on that?
Betty's a bit of an exception. That song, Willie and I were working together, who's a producer that I've been doing a ton of stuff with lately. He's a fucking legend. Betty, we were in the studio. We had the idea to do something with Never Gonna Give You Up, but we figured like it would be impossible to clear it. But we said, you know what? Like, it was the end of a session, and we said, you know what? Let's just have fun. Let's just try it and just see what happens. You know what I'm saying? So we just did it. We started it. The beat came out so hot, and I wrote that whole song. It's long. Okay. Let me tell you the whole story. And that day, I wrote a whole song on Betty. Right? I wrote like multiple verses, the hook, everything, and then when we started to like try to approach the sample clearance process, we realized it was going to be complicated. So I had my friend Nick Seeley recreate the original song. So in Betty, the sample is not Rick Astley. The sample is a almost exact copy of the original song.
Oh wow!
That we made ourselves. Yeah, I'm actually singing in part of it. It's like it's like me and my people recreating it.
But is it different? Is he getting credit?
So in that case, that's a publishing matter. Basically we don't have to clear the master of the song, which is what the label owns. So whoever released that song, we don't have to deal with them. It's more the people who wrote it that are part of the publishing.
Oh, got it.
And Rick Astley didn't write it. So I mean he has. I've spoken with him. He fucks with the song, but the people who actually had to clear it and accept like the lyrics were not him. It was three guys who are songwriters who have been around for a while. They're a bit older. They don't love hip hop. They don't love my lyrics. So the original version of a song was much different. Basically, I mean the only like, I guess I don't want to leak any of it. I don't want to get in trouble. But on the hook, rather than get money, it was get pussy. That was the original. Like, all I know is chase this dough and get pussy. That's how it was.
So you changed lyrics to get the clearance.
I changed everything. It's my only clean song that's out there. It's my only fully clean song because I had to.
Well, let's take a pause for a second, and maybe they're onto something. Maybe these old men who forced you to be cleaner to clear this.
Yep.
I've
been thinking about that.
I mean, like, dude, this song is fucking huge. Mm-hmm. It's only gonna get bigger. To the like, even the dirtiest part of this song where it's like, "Oh, gravy, you said whatever." That's like such a huge trend to the point where like I'm watching small children say that.
Yeah.
On TikTok.
I know.
I mean,
I'm thinking about making slightly more clean music, and a lot of times, it doesn't have to be dirty. Like it's a lot of times the swear words are just like a placeholder. When you got to fill something in, I'll just throw a bitch in there. And it's like I don't need to say that. I can think of something more unique.
But by the way, that's a crutch in life. Like that's deeper.
Yeah, I suppose.
But you have time to really strategize and plan what you say.
A lot of times when I know a song's gonna be big, we'll make a clean version and a dirty version. Whereas like where I'll have the original version and I'm like, oh, well, I got to do this for radio. So then like we'll change some lyrics and whatnot. And I could just start doing that and then just stick with the clean one as the main release.
I think you just need a panel of old men writers to run your ship.
Oh, dude, it was funny because I had to go back with multiple versions, and every time I would go back, it would be like, oh, this specific little thing. The thing was, the slang that I would use wouldn't really. Like the first line is, "I'm with your baby mama at the crib. I blow her back out."
They don't know it.
They don't know what that means. So like, that was all good. That was all good. It could have been, it could have been just a casual term of endearment. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just talking about like giving her a hug or something. But no, I said I blow her back out. And then there's other bars where it's like all I know is, let me think. Well, it's something basic. Like it was, so the first line is, I think never in the hook is never take an L no more. It was like, never gonna trust these hoes. That's what it was, and they knew what that meant, so I changed that. And like, honestly, I like it better now in that case. But there was improvements and a few bars that I miss, but they will come out in another song. They will come.
Was it hard for you to make these changes?
No, I mean I've dealt with sample legal issues so many times, man. Yeah. I've had I got sued by George Michael's estate.
Yeah, you stick to like Motown and older records when you sample.
And a lot of those folks do not like hip hop. Either they don't like hip hop or they just don't like what I'm saying on it, which is fair enough. I don't blame them because some of my lyrics are a bit, aggressive for those ears.
Is there a lyric that either? Well, I have two questions. What lyric of yours is close to your heart still, that like you hold near and dear? No, I'll give you the second part.
Okay.
No, okay.
A lyric of mine that I hold near and dear. I think one of my most quoted lyrics of all time is the beginning of my song called "One Thought, Two Thought, Red Thought, Blue Thought." Already is hilarious when I have to explain to someone like my music, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you should check out One Thought, Two Thought, Red Thought, Blue Thought." But that song's great. I love that song. But I wrote that song fastest I've ever written a song, and it was because I got off probation that day. And the way I started out, it's all freestyle. And then right when I started out, I'm like, "Hey, gravy off probation. Wait, gravy on probation. Now I'm off probation, and I'm fucking with some Asians." And it was a beautiful little start to a song. Kind of just off the dome, and it worked out. But
is this did you get arrested for defending your friend who is being like hit with racist slurs?
I've been arrested thrice, and that was not what I was on probation for, because the time I've told these stories a lot. Like people can find them, but I'll give you all the brief. Like in Iowa, someone called my friend a racist slur. I beat him up, and we both had to go to jail together. Me and this kid who fought my friend, who roasted my friend, and I beat his ass. In the end of that one, I showed up to court. I got a good lawyer. I got my assault charge dropped to creating a raucous noise. This other frat boy kid that was there, who I beat up, didn't show up to court and got charged with assault for getting his ass beat. And I don't know. I gave him a swirly. In the end. That's how it ended.
Straight in the toilet?
Like we were fighting. There's a video out there somewhere. It actually probably wouldn't be hard at all to find it, but it was at a sorority formal that I got invited to because my friend, one of my best friends, his girlfriend went to Iowa State. Iowa State, and I was there just with her friend, just to go have fun. And in the video, it ends with in the bathroom stall. I'm like hitting him, and his head's in the toilet, and it's like a modern day swirly. Yeah. Shout out to that kid. I hope he's all right, because hopefully he's an all right person. I don't really know, but yeah, I hope he ended up okay. I don't wish like negativity on anybody, no matter how white they are. I just
As of 2018, you had knocked out 5 rapey, racist frat bros in a quest to protect women.
Where'd you get that information? I mean, is that like an old tweet of mine, or like someone else quoted it?
No,
or?
It is a quote here, and I can get it verified.
Okay, yeah, I would say that was as of 2018. Yeah, that was like kind of I had a weird. I don't fight people anymore, just for the record. Like, there's people that, like, I don't know if people have seen, like, this, what's his name? Addison Rae's dad is trying to fight me, and we can get into that later. Anyways, I used to just, if I would be at some function or whatever it is, especially in college, this is honestly, like, a lot of that was before I was rapping. Yeah. I knew that I was, like, decent at fighting. I knew that, like, I don't know, I had like these morals that were a little bit over the top, and I would be like, all right, if there's someone who's creepy or being weird or like especially racist, that was what I had the biggest problem with. I would try to piss them off to the point where they would try to fight me, and then I'd kind of like legal to fight back.
Well, so can I add, like, you talk about morals, right? And that is like what connects all these instances of violence. It's not, there's nothing wrong.
Vigilante.
Yes. What is that attached to? Because you grew up, like, your dad is an expert. Sleep, right?
Yes.
That's what he did. Insomnia.
Yes.
He mastered and released books and taught millions and millions and millions of people of like what sleep disorders and insomnia was, right?
Yes.
He was the foremost expert on it.
Yeah. So, my dad grew up in Switzerland, St. Gallen, which is the German-speaking part, but I mean, he could speak German, French, Italian, and English. Moved to America when he was 20-something, and just studied psychology, sleep, all that, and ended up becoming a professor at Dartmouth, doing all this.
A genius.
Yeah, my dad was absolutely a genius. I admire him so much. He married my mom when he was 61, and let me think, 61? I want to say right around there. My mom was 44. No. My mom was 40. He was sick. It just almost exactly 20 years.
Got it.
About it. He was born in 33. She was born in 56. I'll let y'all do the math. And my mom's a psychiatrist, or was. She's retired now. My dad was a psychologist who studied insomnia, and you would think that then I would grow up in like a really rich family, but actually, like they both were so passionate about what they were doing that they weren't really taking opportunities to go seek extra money and whatnot. Like my mom had a private practice with just a few clients, and my dad was doing research, not kind of like the one-on-one stuff where you would make a bag being a psychologist. So
and also they probably worked a lot.
Yeah, worked a lot. But luckily, my dad retired when I was like 10. Yeah, my dad was a lot older. I have half siblings that are younger.
Got it.
And man, legend. The coolest thing, not the coolest thing, but like just one notable thing that everyone can probably relate to is my dad at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester helped invent on the side of the road, the little bumps. It's for if you fall asleep while driving.
Yeah, of course.
You start veering off. It starts making that noise, and you wake up. My dad with the team helped invent that in I think the 90s. Yeah.
By the way, like saves countless lives, and everybody knows that. It's on the side of every highway.
Yeah.
And also, the Mayo Clinic is the greatest hospital on the face of the earth.
Yeah. So
it's a city devoted to health.
So I literally grew up in a town of I want to say 150,000, maybe a little bit more, and man, like a third of everybody either works at the hospital as a janitor, a nurse, a doctor, something like that. Everyone works at Mayo Clinic. I went to Mayo High School. A lot of my really good friends growing up that still live in town are either nurses or something along those lines.
Saying they're the greatest hospital on the face of the earth is like an understatement. Like it is like. It's not even doing it justice.
If you look up, let's say you think you have chlamydia, and you look up chlamydia symptoms.
It all comes from them.
The first website that's going to pop up is Mayo Clinic. Yeah, legendary.
Why did chlamydia come to your mind when you thought of that?
I don't know. Just kidding. I had it not long ago, and it was stressful. Yeah, I'm cleared up now, everybody. I'm cleared up. But I did have chlamydia not that long ago, and away she goes. Away she goes.
Well, do you wonder what your dad would think of all this? What you're doing now?
I think he'd be hyped. I think he'd be really hyped. Unfortunately, he passed when I was 16, so it was right before I entered college and kind of fully became, who I wanted to be and fully became my own personality. I was still in high school. I was still this little acne, drug dealer fucking kid from Minnesota. And then I went to college and kind of really learned what I wanted to do in life and started really succeeding, because in high school you can have your own hustles. Obviously I'm not telling my dad, I just made a fucking $1,000 this week on selling weed. I'm I have my grades. I was accomplishing in a way, but I know that after all the things he'd done, I really wanted to impress him. So finally once I got myself into college and had paid off my student loans from rap money before graduating, all that stuff, I wish you could have seen that. I'm not really sure what religion. I don't know what to believe in. But if he's watching, I hope he is proud.
Yeah, he's definitely around. Oh, you should be proud.
Thank you.
To pay off your loans from making music.
That was a great moment. When I was finishing college, it's probably the most motivated I've been in my life, because I wanted to graduate. I wanted to get good grades to impress my mom and keep her happy and have a good education. I went to University of Wisconsin, for anyone listening, which is it's one of the best schools in the Midwest. I had to hustle pretty hard to get in there. Near the end, man, I would go to class every day. I was taking all these credits so I could try to graduate early. But then I'd come home, and from 6 till midnight, I would just work on music stuff every night. I'd go on SoundCloud, DM people, figure out collabs. I was making my own merch. I would walk over to this freshman dorm. I was a senior, or junior and seniors when I was rapping, but I'd walk over to this freshman dorm where some kid had a t-shirt printer, and I was just would go over there with all these ideas, and we'd make all these shirts together. It started really bootstrapped.
But what was it about music that brought you in? What was it about rap in particular that allowed? Like, did you have a story that you needed to tell? Was it just a way out? What was it?
I wasn't really like I'm blessed to have had like a good childhood. Like I said, my parents were at least middle class, and I grew up in a nice part of Minnesota. Other than it being cold as shit there, it's the best place on earth. There's great people, and I didn't have too much trauma growing up other than my dad dying in high school. So I think the rap and the music, I was just obsessed with hip hop and soul music and all this stuff. And I just figured there was no chance that I'd be able to blow up or have any career with it because I was from Minnesota and I lived in Madison, Wisconsin at the time. And there's no rappers out of there that are big other than like, I mean, at the time, Atmosphere. But other than that, there wasn't really much. So I didn't think of it as a future, but I loved the idea of it. Just didn't even try. And then I worked at a startup accelerator where I would do marketing for these small companies. So it'd be like a PhD student would invent something. They have a fucking Windows XP PowerPoint about what they're trying to sell. I would make it sexy. I'd give them a brand name. I did marketing for technology. And I was like, man, like I'm so good at this. I was like, they always like, I would get all these companies crazy funding from VC, from angel investors, and I'm like, man, I kind of did that. And I was like, I should like use this skill set for something else. And I had a friend who was tight with Lil Yachty in high school, so he showed me Lil Yachty one night. The song had 60,000 plays on SoundCloud, and I loved it. And then I kept checking back in. I watched it over like 2 months blow up to like full size poppin' rapper. There's a few other artists like Lil Peep. I've named out them before, but like artists that really sort of inspired me. And I said, man, like rather than trying to invent something or like, you know, copy what someone else is doing in some space, let me just be myself on SoundCloud and do this. And then I started my career not showing my face or anything.
You don't show your face until a music video, right?
Yeah.
But Karen is your first
Karen.
piece of work.
My first song is called Karen Part 2 because I thought that was funny. My first song was called Part 2. But yeah, Karen. And that was before Karen was a negative thing.
Yeah, you were trailblazer.
That was back when Karen was like just a normal mom name. And I knew a lot of Karens when I was growing up. My dentist name is Karen. Shout out to Karen. But it was before it was like a negative term for like a bitchy mom. So I dropped that and all these other songs within like a 1.5 year period, and I didn't tell anybody. I didn't want to be that guy that's forcing his rap on you. So I had my 2 roommates knew. We lived in this shitty ass Garden View apartment. Garden View means you're in a basement. And we were I was recording that shit, writing it, and they're like, everyone knew those kids in high school that were like the rapper kids. So like, they were like, oh yeah, he's trying it, whatever. But I was pretty dedicated. I just didn't want anyone to know until I had something to show for it.
Was that the main reason you kept your face hidden for that time?
That it was half that. It was half just wanting to be able to actually have something. If I'm showing anyone, I didn't want to be just that guy forcing it on you. But also, I had that job where where it was a generator, is a startup accelerator based out of Madison. They have a bunch of offices, and I had a job lined up for after college. I loved working there, and they told me I could open my own office in Atlanta and like run this program for it's basically like a record label for startups.
That's so cool.
So that's probably what I'd be doing now. I mean, it's been a lot of years now since college, so maybe a little different, but I think that's what I would have done after college.
So how much of Young Gravy is actually you?
Just overall, I mean, personality wise?
Yeah.
I think at first I was almost like at first when I was making music, I was getting a little bit, you know, I was very braggadocious. I mean, there's lines that I have that are obviously just braggadocious, like just flexing, where it's just, you know, humor or you know, it's just what all rappers do, just flexing something. And there's some things that are obviously impossible. But I mean, I think that like it's just kind of played out in a way where I've become a lot more of Gravy, and Gravy's become a lot more of me. My lyrics are a little bit more actual truth now. And
interesting.
I started I would rap about things that I wanted to do, and then I did them, and then now I'd say it's somewhere in between.
Do you intentionally seek out to do the things you rapped about, or do they just happen to happen?
Happen to happen. I rap about like at least in the early days, especially rap about what all rappers are rapping about, like this lavish life and these things that everyone wants at some point to happen. And I didn't really think that it would, but I realized that it's all real, and it's not as exciting as people would think. You know, you kind of learn to live in that lifestyle, and you know, it's I'm still the same person I was before. I wouldn't say I'm like fucking living the happiest, perfect life just because I'm in this rapper space where everyone wants to be. But I did all these things that I always wanted to do. I tried everything, did all these things I wanted to do. Not everything. I've never been to Asia, for example. But I did all the rapper things that I would rap about. And it was yeah, man, I just, now the lyrics now are more literal, and I will actually drop bars about things that I have done or do regularly.
Is that easier for you to craft a song about than making it up out of imagination?
It gets easier. Just in general. I mean, I've rapped a lot now, and there's like this issue of like, oh, I've used this rhyme before, or like, oh, I know this rhyme scheme. I've done this like for me, business and Christmas and witness and litness. That rhyme, I've done that so many fucking times. There's like rhymes where I'm like you have to either like I've made close to 100 songs now. So in some cases, either I have to just try to rhyme like fucking, I don't even know, like a 5-syllable word with something else if I want to be completely original, or I just got to take something I've already done or that someone else has already done and make it gravy. You know, it's like I had for a while a weird like, damn, like I can't do that again. I already used that rhyme scheme. So yeah, so I was trying to rhyme like, I don't know, like, so I'm trying to think of like a long word that I have done.
Didn't you use supercalifragilistic?
I did.
Yeah. Can't even say the word.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Damn, what's my own lyric? Hold on. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. What do I say after that? Yo, XP on some hoe shit is what I end it with, but
Let me see.
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Supercalifragilistic. Yo, XP on some hoe shit. Yeah.
Yeah, Superman, I get them bands, but ain't gonna buy you roses.
Super duper, get them cougars, took my wrist and froze it. On Google, does it say super? Is the first word, is it dope shit or docious?
Let me go back to
I
that.
think people kind of just took their own reins on it. I wasn't planning it for it to be end with dope shit. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, dope shit. It was
That's what Genius has. Genius has dope shit.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe that's what it is then. It's not what I meant, but
Culture has taken it and made its own.
That's what it is. I love looking at Genius. I don't know if you guys have ever like gone deep into Genius, but I love looking at like what people come up with, because there is a lot of like, I love adding like deep references to things, or like making like multiple meanings, like all that like lyrical shit. But a lot of people don't catch on, so it's great to like either see people where they'll find like the exact reference I have and like what it means to me, or like coming up with their own version of it. It's awesome.
Is that what keeps music fresh to you?
I mean, I think for me, I love just hearing anything new that's different. Like for me, my favorite artists every year are the people that are doing something different and new. Man, I'm trying to think of artists. I mean, I don't listen to that much rap. Like I've been listening to a lot of like sort of modern soul stuff. Like if anyone, like my favorite artist right now is the what is it? I was listening to him on the way here. The
1975.
The 1975. No. Duran Jones and the Indications is a good example of what I listen to right now. So they're basically making modern soul, and I still listen to old stuff all the time. But just people who are doing something completely different. Like all the really big artists that are popping, I love listening to like the occasional song. I love hip hop, but like a lot of it, you know, it's my job, so sometimes it feels like I'm doing work outside of work.
No, totally. And by the way, like listening to other things allows you to tap into other sources of inspiration.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of what I listen to is old music. That's I've been trying to find more recent music that I can fuck with, because I mean, my alarm on my phone when I wake up every morning is Dean Martin. I mean, I listen whenever I'm like hungover. I only listen to easy listening. Like a lot of my go-to music is before 1970.
I mean, to be honest, it's a problem with the moment. It's a problem with the time. 2022 needs to get its act together.
There's cool shit out there. Hyperpop is like a new genre.
Totally.
Which is cool, man. It's cool to see something new. Some people probably think that all music is, been done and people are just recreating things, but hyperpop is sick. 100 Gex. Shout out to them.
Do you think if you weren't you would listen to your own music?
Yes. 100%.
So what do you think what do you think you're doing differently that isn't being done right now?
Basically the pairing of, I think the main thing that sets me apart where you'll go on YouTube and find like a Young Gravy type beat, which I was very proud of when I first saw that, and I was hundreds of them. Pairing classic samples, soul in particular, with like trap drums, 808. I mean, 3 6 Mafia did it, but not a lot of artists since then. I mean, Kanye samples a lot, but he's not making banger trap music like with the samples. I mean, he has, but I think my sort of beat choice and that flavor mixed with like the brand of MILFs and food and braggadocious like tomfoolery, being happy and fun and no negative energy and just having these like beats that are mad different. I think that's what set me apart, and if I had like all those steps together, if I hadn't taken all those, I don't think I'd be where I'm at.
What came first, the music or the brand?
The music. I mean, I would, before I was in college, before I'd actually really pursued it, I would kind of like freestyle with my friends occasionally and shit. The name Gravy was there.
You went by Butter too, no?
Mr. Butter. Mr. Butter.
Sorry.
Lil Steamer was one in the circle.
Yeah, you mentioned that in Karen Part 2, right?
Yeah, Lil Steamer, but people thought that it had to do with shit, so I stopped doing that. Yeah. Everyone was like, oh, Lil Steamer, oh, you mean like poop? I was like, no. So that's gone. So I stopped doing that. Mr. Butter, I was afraid that like the period after the Mr. would somehow fuck up the SEO. And then Young Gravy came along. I was like, man, I like this. I like Gravy. So it just felt right for what I was rapping about. I mean, I'm talking like when I started actually rapping, I never put out any music under a different name. It was always Young Gravy. But beforehand, when I'd be in the freestyle circle or whatever, I had all those names. And then when the time came where I was like, I'm gonna fucking do this, Young Gravy was perfect. And I haven't regretted it once. I haven't regretted it once. I was in a lawsuit where some other kid was Young Gravy. It was with an O. God bless his heart. I paid him $150,000 to leave me alone.
Wow. Damn. Oh my gosh.
This kid just like, he wanted to be a rapper and it wasn't working out for him, and he had that name and we couldn't, basically I got my legal team on it. He got his legal team on it. And they were both like, I had the best in New York, he had the best in LA. And I had to do a deposition and all this shit, where you swear under oath.
Yeah.
All these things. I had to get a bunch of witnesses and stuff involved.
Did you not know him at all, right? I'm assuming?
No, I didn't know him at all. It was just by chance. It was like he used the name Young Gravy and I did. And we had to prove like the first usage of the name. And I was pulling out like old ass videos of me like rapping and like someone saying Gravy like from when I was fucking like 18 or 19.
Oh.
And in the end, it was like there wasn't a clear enough answer, and it was like, dude, like we're gonna keep this going, and you're gonna keep spending legal fees, so just fucking give us this money. And I was like, man, I don't want to change my name.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I thought about going with like Papa Gravy or like Poppy Gravy, but I was like, no, it's kind of creepy. So I gave this kid a fucking 150 bands. A kid fucking probably living off that right now, man.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him since.
Yeah, I'm sure he's doing well.
Are you losing money off all these samples?
Not all the time. I when I first started releasing music, I would not clear anything. I didn't know the rules. I didn't have a lawyer, so I couldn't. And I just figured, you know what? If they come to get me, then I still got the song out there and people still liked it. And if they come and get the money from me, well, I mean, I still gained something, And I was like, I was picking samples that I loved, like songs that I loved, and I really want to sample. So the only time I've actually had to take something down and get rid of it was George Michael, Careless Whisper. I had a song called Flex Season, still on like YouTube, I'm guessing, but I had to like take that down and give them all the money. But in most cases, people will come and they'll see this artist with a shitload of listens on their song and it's sampling them, and they're like, you know, they're usually in retirement because they sample a lot of older stuff. And they're like, you know, I could use a little extra bag. So a lot of times the way it works out with those older songs is they'll come to me and then we'll have a little, you know, lawyer to lawyer discussion, and then I'll usually just give them a good percentage of the publishing, and I like they're pretty chill about it. But trying to clear samples from the jump and all that stuff I got to do now that I'm signed, like legally, there's a lot that goes into it. It's complicated. I usually just make my own samples.
Are you setting any goals for this new album that's coming?
For this new album, I mean, I don't know about goals, man. It's fire. The album's great. With goals, I like to think about like, oh man, this is gonna make me happier than the last one, because I don't like setting a number and then stressing about it, you know, with goals, and I had goals at one point and then I surpassed all of them, and then it sounded so dick like, but you know what I mean. I had goals to surpass them, and then now it's like I have this fear of like, oh, if I set some goals at a certain level and I don't make it, I'm just gonna stress myself out. So try my best. And then, are
there creative goals?
Creative goals, I mean, I want to learn more instruments and whatnot, because I can't play any instruments. I'm a musician. Apparently, according to Spotify, I'm like the 450th biggest artist in the world, and I don't know how to play a fucking piano. I know like 2 songs my dad taught me when I was a kid, but I have gotten much better at production, and I know the notes, I know all that stuff. I'll be in the room when we make the song from scratch, so I can be there. There's a sax player. I'll sing a melody and be like, yo, can you do this? But I can't do it myself, and I think that's the next step for me.
You want to do it?
Yeah, is to do it myself, or at least just be able to play something myself, and then have someone who's better at it finalize it. But I'm a huge part of that process, but I'm not doing it myself, and it feels weird. Where I'm like, oh yeah, can you hit like a I'm like, he's like, oh yeah, like what notes? I'm like, just, you know, the just hit those, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a goal. Getting better at music, like just the basics, and maybe singing, you know. People ask me to sing a lot, and I don't, but I feel like I have like a very rare vocal range according to this singer teacher I worked with one time. It's like, I forgot what he said. It's like same as Barry White, which is
you can go deep,
which is a good sign, because he's one of the most famous musicians there ever was.
You can croon
some sensual music. So maybe someday I'll drop like a sensual Barry White tape.
Young Gravy and Kenny G.
Something like that. Yeah. Some beautiful some saxophone. So those are things that, like, I've just been so busy with everything that, like, I want to just start putting those into my day. And all the goal is just getting healthier, man. I lived the tour life and the sort of like rapper life and trying all these fucking drugs or whatever it is, and I'm becoming just a normal dude now. I want to like live like a rapper healthily. So yeah.
You're a real artist. So the idea of you actually boxing anybody for any sort of attention or money is not even in the realm of possibility.
Boxing? Oh, we're talking about.
Yeah, but you're a real artist. Like that's you're not fucking around. Like Young Gravy, as he sits here today, is a legitimate artist in every sense of the word and definition. No,
I think I'm much more of an artist than anything. I mean, I've done artist and a bit of a, like, I guess, businessman or marketer.
Yeah.
I've done acting a little bit. I just did something with Comedy Central that's going to come out soon. It'll be dope. I've gotten a lot of offers for acting, but I'm kind of scared of it, so I got to work on. Maybe that's another thing I'll work on, is learning how to act. But done a little bit of that. All that stuff is just kind of feels like side quests, you know. It's like I'm a musician. That's my favorite. I love performing. That's what I spend most of my time doing, is touring. The whole boxing and like trying to get me into that thing, it's like, I think it's dope when people like take it all the way. Like look at Logan Paul. He started fighting, learning how to fight. Now he's in WWE. I got to show love to Logan Paul, man. He's fucking badass. Like, good dude. I met him. I was expecting the worst, and I witnessed the best, man. Good kid. And now he's killing at WWE. His brother's kind of a douchebag, but I fucking love watching him fight people. So it's like people, I think that's a great space for YouTubers and for musicians. I got an offer once to fight Riff Raff. Triller hit me up and they wanted me to fight Riff Raff, and I was scared of that. I didn't want to do it. It was a huge time commitment trying to like learn how to fight. And they wanted to make his brother my trainer to like do some, like, I don't know. It was just I don't like that drama, man. Soap opera, like fighting shit. I don't know.
So what is this nonsense with this garbage person, Monty Lopez, whose greatest success is the success of his daughter?
Is his daughter? Is everything his daughter did? Yeah.
It's so fucked. Like he flaunts wealth that isn't even his. It's his daughter's.
Yeah. I don't know all the details. The only reason I see it is because people will send me videos, and I think it's pretty funny. It's funny to watch. But I just feel bad. I feel bad for his daughter. I feel bad for his ex-wife, Sherry. She hit me up and was like, "Don't get involved," and I was like, "All right, I won't get involved." So I'm steering clear.
She hit you. Was that the first time you?
No, we've spoken in the past, and she was just like a lot, and not a lot, but we've spoken in the past, and she just wanted me to stay out of it, so I'm staying out of it. That was my plan from the start, anyways. But then occasionally funny idea will come up. You've seen those videos where they'll flick something and then it'll be like a smaller person jumping off of a dock, and they'll throw him in the water or whatever. They'll drop it in a cup, that sort of thing. Because he's a lot shorter than me. So someone was like, "They do this," and I was like, "Nah." What my decision is, or what I decided is if it really becomes a problem and he's really really trying to get me to fight him, I'm just gonna send in Sean O'Malley. That's my boy. Because they're about the same height, it's more fair that way. So I'm going to send in MMA superstar Sean O'Malley, have him dye his hair blonde, maybe,
do the wavy hair.
Maybe grow it out a little bit, and he can pretend, but I got too much on the line to fight somebody right now. If he comes up to me at in a public place, if I have to, I'll do what I have to do, but I broke my right hand in New Zealand crowd surfing one time. I got hit in the hand really hard by someone that was just swinging their arm. So I can't if I punch somebody right now, I could not be able to write again. I like signing things,
No, we can't.
Yeah,
that's too much of a risk. Also, you don't travel around with security.
I don't really. Yeah,
you
I don't
travel
really travel
with nobody.
I like to travel with nobody. You met at the video shoot. I brought Tip, my DJ. I like to bring in a few people, but we're not. If I'm in certain places where I know there's I used to have stalkers and stuff. It's a long story, but there's certain places where I'll bring out security, or if it's like a club, usually they'll just gift me a little security guard. But I think I can be my own security if I have to. I wouldn't be throwing right hooks because of my hand.
Yeah, I just don't want this. I mean, honestly, first of all, this is the saddest. Your parents going through any sort of separation and having a piece of shit parent is really devastating to deal with privately. This being as public as it is this person has no regard for anybody but himself, clearly.
His videos are so embarrassing.
It's really embarrassing. People will just send them to me, and it's pretty rough, dude.
Seek help, please, for the good of your family and your daughter, get help.
Yeah. So I hope I don't want to bring too much attention to it, but I hope Addison's all good. I'm sorry that if anyone thinks that I might have brought extra attention to it, which I might have, but sorry that your dad's a loose cannon, and I hope everything works out.
Does this prevent you from wanting to go on the date with?
No.
You still want to do that?
Yes.
And it hasn't happened yet?
She lives in Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you actually dating moms? I mean,
I have. Dating. I haven't had that many long-term relationships, other than just a few.
Yeah.
I haven't had that many super long-term relationships, at least not in the last couple of years. And I haven't really been with. I mean, when I was 16, I had a girlfriend that was 21. That was probably the oldest actual girlfriend age difference. But I'll hook up with moms on occasion. It's not a fabrication. It's not I'm just saying it to say it. I think I do really like getting with moms, and hanging out with them is extra fun because I don't know. Not just because I like oldies and old shit and they can relate more, but it's man, they're, I don't know.
There's a maturity there.
Maturity and wisdom and everything.
Yes.
But I'm not loyal to just moms. I've dated girls my age, and
what a hero.
Anywhere in between.
Wow. Thank you for your service. Thank you so much.
Do you feel like you need, with the new album coming up, did you feel like you need to reference moms and MILFs on these songs because people just kind of know you as that guy?
I definitely do reference moms. I mean, it's kind of it's not I feel the need. It's kind of just what naturally comes when I'm writing something. moms or whatever it is. I mean, I do have quite a few bars that are literally just like your bitch ... or like ... with your bitch, and that's kind of like just my thing. It's my shtick. So the lyrics haven't changed. I thought more about a lot of them. I think it's more technical in certain parts of the album, and I'm proud of myself for having like over the years gotten better and better at writing, because I think every artist has experiences like lulls and you know, ups and downs and creativity, and I wrote this album during a really good phase. So I think it's gonna be a hit.
Is your best song yet to come?
Yes, I would say so. There's some classics of mine that I love. My favorite's probably Gravy Train, which samples Maxine Nightingale, right back where we started from, is one of my favorite songs ever. So I was really honored when she like showed love and wanted to be a part of it. But I think the best, like, I wouldn't say most popular, but like the best songs that I've made are coming on this album so far, and I think that I'll get better and better at music. Once I learn the piano and learn how to sing, you know, and I come back with something crazy, yeah, that's when the real legendary ones that people will remember me for. That's when those will come. But right now, this album is better than anything I've done in the past.
Today, how do you define success?
How do I define success? I think just, man, being, I guess if you've had goals and you accomplish them, that's one way to look at it. But for me, I guess it's just like being happy with being able to be happy and not regret sort of your whole come up. You know, that's regrets are okay for success. I think just being happy, getting to a point where you can be happy with your career, and no matter what it is. I mean, if you have a goal money wise, it's always nice to be comfortable, you know, money wise. But I think just getting to somewhere where you can be happy and do what you love to do without, you know,
stress,
hurting yourself over it. Yeah. And I'm still working on that. I still get stressed out all the time. But I think I've like regularly gotten better at just working on my health and skills and keeping up relationships and whatnot. Day one friends, new people, everything. Getting to somewhere where you're happy and never like, you know, getting stuck in a rut.
It's a quest, man, and you're not always going to be able to check off all those boxes at once.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
absolutely, a lot of things. And personally, for me, I think a lot of the goals that I had, I accomplished, and I'm really happy with the success. But at the cost of like my health wasn't as good. I was drinking a lot, and not getting sleep, and all those things. And now I'm working on balancing everything out. I think a lot of artists could probably relate to that. Whether it's that or the reverse, and getting good. I'm going to the trainer after this.
Really?
Yeah. Probably not in this. I'll probably change up a little bit, but yeah.
Well, speaking of that, the very first thing you said is you got that suit made for a date with Martha Stewart.
Yes. So, well, yes, I got invited to perform at a bat mitzvah for a big industry exec who runs my label. It was his daughter's bat mitzvah.
Monty or Avery?
Monty.
Sick.
Monty.
Yeah.
Monty Littman.
Monty Littman, yeah.
Music icon. Hi, Monty.
Yeah.
You're missed.
Yeah. Hey, just to be clear, he's talking about Monty Littman.
Yeah, not
now.
Monty Lopez.
Not Monty Lopez.
No,
Hi, Monty Littman. You're missed. We love you.
Yeah.
Monty Lopez, I don't know. Anyways.
Who is he? I don't know him.
Monty Littman. That's the Addison Rae's dad.
Yeah. No, I know.
Oh, I thought you were serious. I was like, dog. Let's get it together now. Let's get it together. No. So Monty Littman's daughter was a fan. I performed at her bat mitzvah, but I got to New York and I realized like I had never been to one before. There's not that many Jewish people in Minnesota. There was one person that I grew up with that had one and didn't invite me, and I was sour for a long time.
That hurts. By the way, I've been that person.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was in New York, and for some reason I just didn't pack anything like suit related, anything classy, and I was like, shit, I gotta go. So I went to Suit Supply. Shout out to Suit Supply for giving me the bag that caught on fire in my car. And I got this. It's a 3-piece. There's a vest too, but I thought that was a little bit too much, you know.
That looks good.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Was Martha Stewart there?
So we started at Martha Stewart lives nearby his house, which was where the party was, and I performed at the bat mitzvah, but before that, Martha invited me over for dinner and drinks and everything.
What?
Yeah. So Martha Stewart and I have a relationship. We did a commercial together. I wrote a song called Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
She heard it. She loved it. We did a big commercial that was for her new line of frozen products, and they played it in movie theaters when James Bond came out. It was a big collab project that was awesome. So Martha and I got along really well, and then she wanted to watch the Kentucky Derby and go to this bat mitzvah together. So yeah, I pulled up beforehand, and we had some mint juleps. We watched the Kentucky Derby,
Wait.
and it was a good time, man. Yeah, and then we went to the bat mitzvah. Pulled up with me.
Okay.
So there's a lot to unpack there, but yeah.
Do you go your separate ways after the bat mitzvah, or what do you do after?
Oh, what I do after? I had a flight the next morning. I went home. Martha, if you see this someday, just give me the hint. If you're gonna let me hit, like let's get it. But I was gonna do a show the next morning, so I had to fly out.
Got it.
Went
So
back
she
to work.
hasn't given you the hint yet.
I mean, she's flirtatious, but she's intimidating. She has so much game. She's so lit, like so legendary that I don't want to push any boundaries. So
You have similar hair.
you think so?
Yeah.
I've gotten that before, especially like if I wake up in the morning and like my hair is not really done to how I want it. People are like, "Oh man, you kind of look like a Golden Girl right now." Like, all right, word. Like I'll take it. But no,
Wow.
Martha's great, man. We'll see.
God,
We'll see.
what does that do to your confidence?
The Golden Girl thing or the Martha Stewart
The
thing?
Martha Stewart having any sort of even a sliver of interest in you.
It's awesome, man. I mean, I named a song after her for a reason. She's a legend, and
Are you like nervous, like actually like intimidated? Like, did you think going into this, like, oh, she could make a move on me?
I don't know. I don't really know what to expect.
You didn't run that scenario in your
I
head?
didn't really
Bullshit.
run it. I mean, I'm ready for that whenever. Like I've gotten to a point where you gotta be. And that sounded also really douchey, but anyways, I went into it like, oh, this is gonna be casual, like dinner and date and whatever and everything. I had my DJ with me; it wasn't just me.
Okay.
So I wasn't like I'm like sitting there waiting, like trying to make something happen. It was just a casual little thing, and confidence is boosted for sure by having like one of the most legendary women out there. Being a fan and a potential romantic interest. So.
Damn.
Shout out to Martha.
God. That's marry into that, my friend. I mean,
We'll see.
knock on wood for you.
Marrying to that.
What are you thinking?
The only other question I had is what when an adult film of yours gets released, like what do you learn from that whole situation?
But also invasive, right?
Yeah. So we're talking about the brief sex tape that was released of me on Twitter.
Yeah, you look good in there.
Thank you. My phone was hacked a couple years ago, and this person decided to hold off until my song blew up to drop it, which is unfortunate because now some people think that I like did it myself. Like, oh, he had a moment, he wants like some success, but like I would never do that, man. That was like the girl that's in the video is a really good friend of mine. I was like, man, like there's no reason I would ever subject that. She's got a career and everything. I was like, man, there's no reason I would ever fucking purposely do something like this, and it's like it worked out okay, but I would never wish that upon anybody. It's like I got fans that are fucking 15 years old that are gonna see that now because you leaked my private shit for your own chuckles or whatever. And
Do you want justice?
I mean, there's not really anything I can do, and I think it's gotten to a point where it's just like, fuck it. Like, the people that hacked me are crazy hackers. If I try to strike back, they'll do something worse probably. I accepted it, man. Like, I think we're gonna get it swept off the internet. I just like, for me, I'm lucky to be in a place where with my career, my brand and everything, it doesn't hurt me that much. Like, I feel fucking weird for the young fans that have to see that.
And for the girl who really had no, I mean,
yeah,
that poor lady.
Exactly. That's my main concern is her. But luckily, it's getting handled. People, think it's funny overall. But man, when I first dropped, I was like, oh, this fucking sucks. I saw it at it was like a Saturday or Friday night, midnight. Someone texted me a link on Twitter, had 150 views on it, and I was like, oh shit, like where did this come from? I had to do all the math in my head. And then fingers crossed, went to bed, woke up the next morning, and it was just
Everywhere.
It is everywhere. So I mean, shit, man. I know how it feels now. I feel really bad for anyone who's had that shit leaked, anything similar to that leaked, or any private information. But I learned that I guess, you know, the high security is important, especially when people are out there to get you. And there's a lot of people on the internet that have nothing to do except try to fuck with other people. So always be aware of that, no matter what you're doing. I mean, it's normal in a relationship to film your, you know, when you're bumping uglies, you got to do it, you know, about the camera. It's something, you know, it's something that everyone does. But if you have any sort of reason why someone would want to hack you, don't save any of your videos in your iCloud. That's, you know, a little tip.
It's sad and gross and disgusting. But the upside is you have a community of fans that do genuinely fuck with you. Your music continues to grow. Mm-hmm. Like, is it wild that your fans bailed you out of jail?
Yeah, that was one of my favorite moments ever.
I mean, that's community if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point today, like what they were doing for the sex tape was they're all reporting it. You know, there was like a little gang of them that are all helping out. I mean, it's hard because Twitter, they can just duplicate links like that. But I've had some really, really dope situations with fans, man. The first one was that Iowa situation I talked about where I fought that kid. I was in jail, and just based on an Instagram story I had up, I had 30,000 followers at the time, and my fans came and bailed me out, which was fucking awesome. They didn't even know my real name. They just said the guard walked in. He was like, "Hey, is there a little gravy in here?" I was like, "Oh, man, that's beautiful. Let's fucking go." So yeah, in Iowa, I got bailed out by my fans back in the day. That was fucking awesome. I've brought them out to shows anytime I'm in Iowa since then. What else? What other cool?
I mean, that's sick.
They're also offering up their moms to you.
Yeah, everyone's offering up their moms. I get a couple resumes a day, hundreds of DMs about just, oh, here's a picture of my mom, like come date her, which is cool. You know, it's fun. It's different than what I would have done when I was that age. I don't remember that happening back in the day. But
is it wild for you to wrap your mind around the fact that you are shaping culture?
It is kind of wild. It is kind of wild. Seeing like little things like that where anything at all MILF related, there's a comment about Young Gravy on it, or like this is what to me is the most wild is there's these younger folks who will see something like it'll literally be an ad from the 50s or something like a old vintage ad, and they'll be like, oh, this is some Young Gravy shit right here. Where it's like, no, that's what came before all of us, and I just liked it, so I did stuff similar. But now they're like, no, this is Young Gravy shit. The 50s copied Young Gravy.
That's connecting culture.
Yeah, man. So I'm bringing back older things and the things that I love, and it's cool to see people, you know, get into it. But it's just interesting. Like, man, I didn't create that. That wasn't the pinup girls, all that stuff. It wasn't really my swag. But like, I'm honored to be, you know, people just fucking rolling with it. Anything gravy.
You embody what it is today. It's sick.
I guess so, man.
God, are you good? Where are you going?
Oh, I'm just gonna let her get some better pictures.
Oh.
Okay, cool. Yeah, should I move it all?
By the way,
any other angles I should sit at?
We've been talking for like an hour, and we have a friend from the New York Times here, just photographing the whole thing.
Yeah. Any other like angles I should sit at, or anything I should do?
You're great.
Okay, I'm good. Okay, cool.
By the way, please tap the link in our like bio and description there. There's a bunch of Young Gravy music for you, just waiting. You look good with that cat pillow.
Yeah, it feels right. It fits. Kind of fits the fit.
It does. In so many different ways it fits.
Yeah, it really does.
Is it wild to think that this is still just the beginning?
It is. It is wild. You know, that's interesting question because I've had so many moments that will go up and down. It's not like I ever really would say I fell off, but I always will have a song that blows up, and then I coast, and then the cult fans stay hardcore. I've always sold a shitload of tickets, but I'm not always having like a hit that's on the Billboard or whatever. But it's like, I mean, I'll do one, like, I think there's probably 6 or 7 songs now that have over 100 million streams or that are gold or platinum. And those are all spread out over a long period of time where it's like, oh, like people will be like, oh shit, I forgot about Gravy. That's why I see those comments all the time. It's cool to like,
It's great though.
You know, see that like each time it's a bigger moment.
Yes.
And it's like, damn, like people will comment, oh, I remember Young Gravy when I was in high school blasting it like Mr. Clean. And then these kids are now like about to graduate college and now they're blasting Betty. And it's just cool because like watching my fans grow and being able to have like a biggest moment where I'd say that was one of the bigger fears I had, was like, oh man, I had my moment and now I'm just gonna have to kind of, you know, pick off the little bread that I can still get off of this. But like, if I don't know, when I make new music and people still fuck with it and my sort of actual talent that I've learned reveals itself, it's dope to see people getting into it.
Your community grows and so do you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's cool. Like I know that my favorite artists, you know, the songs that I listen to the most probably are what I was bumping in high school, you know? So it's like for me that was like 3 6 Mafia, Currency, Freddie Gibbs, Wiz Khalifa, like that sort of that era. And when they drop shit now, I still listen to it and I'll download everything, but it's like the songs that I run back the most are like, you know, I think that's the age where people like find their favorites, and I'll run back those songs I listened to in high school over and over again. And I think like it's great to have sort of that community of people that like came up, still show love to me, and will promote my, you know, ear or word of mouth. I was about to say ear to mouth. That almost came out of my mouth. I almost just said that. That ear to mouth, man. No, word of mouth promotion is great, man.
That recommendation goes a long way.
Yeah.
Truly, check out Young Gravy's music. You probably have listened to it, but new album is coming. Link in the description below. Do you have another single on the way?
Just real quick, based on what you said, you've probably maybe heard one or two of my songs somewhere. That's when I meet people and I have to like, if they're like really delving into it, I usually try not to like be like, oh, I'm a musician, I'm a rapper, blah, blah. I'll be like, oh, I'm a musician, yeah, I make music. And when they start really asking like, oh, I wonder if I've heard of you, I have to be like, oh yeah, you've probably maybe heard like one of these three, and I have to like sing it for them if they really are that interested. It's just funny. I'm like, oh yeah, like remember this one was like Tracy with the ass, you know, or like, oh, the one where I talk about blueberry muffins, or I'm like, oh yeah, damn Gravy, you're vicious. It's just like, man, like it's funny. Sometimes I'll just like get sick of it and I'll just pretend that I'm Baby No Money, one of my best friends who I made a ton of music with. He's got that song La La La.
Yeah.
Because when I popped up, da 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 da. That song. Sometimes if I'm getting bored, I'm like, oh, you know what? I made this song. I'll just kind of like pretend like I'm him for a second so I can get out of there. But yeah, man, like it's if you don't know me, you might have heard one of my songs that I just referenced. And if you really don't know me, then you know, come take a peek. You know, I think you'll find out pretty quick whether you love me or hate me.
Is there pressure around releasing this next single because Betty is doing what it's doing?
Yeah, but I love the next single.
What is it?
It was gonna be the single before Betty, and then we switched it around. So it's a song. I can spill the beans. I'm gonna start promoting it pretty soon. It's called C'est La Vie.
Oh.
It's me, Rich Brian, and Baby No Money.
Whoa.
And their biggest song to date, I believe, other than maybe Lava Lies, is Edamame.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite songs they've done. And we actually made it the same day. This was all in one day. We had this session where we were all just in the zone, like fucking loving life, killing it. I think it was the first time I met Rich Brian in person. Fucking sweetheart, love that kid. But we made this song called C'est La Vie, and it's almost a little bit more like punk rock than it is rap. It's kind of like in between. I actually have to go right after this. I have to go to a session to change like one lyric on there that's had a legal issue.
What?
But it bangs.
Are you sampling something?
No, it's just a lyric. I said voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Is that how you say it? Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? I don't know. They don't want to have to deal with like potentially Lady Marmalade coming.
Yeah.
So I'm changing a bar. You guys heard it?
No, I haven't heard it.
I mean, you guys heard me say it just now.
Oh yeah.
That bar. So someone got it. You know.
So hold on. That's a trio. Oh
yeah.
So you're coming with something strong.
Oh yeah, it's strong, and it's I've played my album for a lot of people, and this is a lot of people's favorite. It's a slapper.
How do you view this album? Do you view it as a debut? Do you view it as a sophomore? It's really a third, right?
Yeah, it's I'd say it's my third like big album, but I mean I was like before like Sensational and I like really kind of blew up. Man, I was like just hustling on my SoundCloud shit. I would drop a few songs and put out something as an EP. Just I have like 5 like EPs like technically. And just a few full-length albums. So this is my third full-length, but I'd say it's almost like a a sequel to the first album in a weird way. I don't know, something about it feels like that. Because the first album I made in a similar way, where I was touring and I was meeting new people and trying new producers and all this different stuff and learning things. And then the second album, so that's Sensational. The second album, Gasanova, I was stuck in COVID and I was back home and I was like doing everything like at home. All the creative was coming directly from me and I wasn't like around people. It was all kind of like, which worked really well in some ways. I love what came out of it. But this is almost like a follow-up to the first one where I back on my lifestyle. I got back into freedom, and it's just a polished version of me that's a little bit more talented at the actual music, and it's like a Sensational part 2, but better.
And it's coming. Tap the link, click the link below.
It's coming September.
Yeah, pre-save it and listen to every song that Young Gravy's put out so far.
Coming.
I really appreciate you,
You're
man.
welcome. Absolutely.
This is a great conversation.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I liked how much we got into music because it's not, the details. People like to hear that stuff.
Yeah, come back.
Can I ask one more music question? Is there any big sample that you've wanted to do that never got cleared and you had to scrap it?
Let me think. Got to Be Real by Cheryl Lynn is one that we tried to do, but we ended up kind of just doing like our own like twist on it. It's called Party at My Mama's House. It's like a slightly similar vibe. It's not a perfect example. I think one song I really want to sample, I just know it would be complicated, is it's Vitas. It's this Russian song where he's like, damn, that sounded horrible. You gotta look it up. It's this video on YouTube that's got memed a lot where this guy's like wearing like starfish on his head and he's like, I'm not gonna try it again. But you have to look up Vitas' Seventh Element, and I really want to sample that. I have a beat with it. I just know that it's gonna be hard to get in contact with those motherfuckers. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, you can kind of tell, right? Like, because in some cases you want a legitimate team because then they'll respond to you.
Yeah, so it's like that's a problem with sample clearances is you could be dealing with a huge artist who has a crazy catalog where like, the estate is going to be really strict and not want anyone to like, mess with their legacy. And then you have artists that are more low key who would probably love the money and would love to be a part of something, but you can't get a hold of them because they figured out their career is done and they're just doing their own normal thing now.
That's interesting.
So like sampling some of that more obscure music is also really hard.
How many are they all samples on this new album? Or
I create most of them with like my folks, my homies Nick and Dwilly and all them. Like I've met a group of friends. Like what I was saying earlier, where I'm talking to a musician and like trying to sing notes or whatever without even knowing what they're coming called. Now. That's how a lot of them are coming is original compositions that like I'm sure it's in some way inspired by what I've been listening to.
But it's still original.
But it's original, yeah. It's in the studio together. We're all working on something and creating something new, just based on what people know that I like.
Pre-save this album. There's a link in the description below. It is there, waiting for you. Young Gravy.
Hell yeah, baby.
Appreciate you.
Pre-save it. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me,
dude. Literally anytime. This is a joy.
I'm gonna come back and sit next to someone that's famous and not say anything. That's the plan.
That'd be a dream for Dan and I.
That's the plan. Okay.
That'd be so funny.
Same outfit.
Young Gravy, everybody.
Thank you.